He is also an entertainment lawyer, literary manager, and film producer. Matthew has held various creative and business administrative positions in the entertainment industry, working in both New York and Los Angeles prior to returning to the Boston area and founding the law office of Matthew Valentinus. How are you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
no
for
problem.
having me.
So we see this issue finally coming to light. It's finally being spearheaded, so to say, by the mainstream media in a sense. They're finally actually talking about something that most of us have known about and that's been going on in Hollywood and within the industry like that for years and years and years. And now the mainstream media that has ignored it for so long is finally being forced to talk about it. And now you have all these victims finally coming forward because they're empowered. They've seen someone do it and nothing's happened to them. And now they're like, hey, I can do it, you can do it, and everyone's starting to come to the forefront. So what do you think is going on, and how bad is this problem within Hollywood, and what can be done to stop it in a sense?
Well, I think the first thing that can be done to stop it is that I think they're trying to segment it, right? Right now, they're trying to put all the focus on Harvey Weinstein. There's probably 20 or 30 or 40 Harvey Weinsteins in the industry, if not more. I think they're trying to focus it just on women. We shouldn't let them divide us like that. This should be focused on everybody. It's happened to a lot of men, and in our film, we talk about how much it's happening to children. So I think the issue needs to be about everyone and not let them compartmentalize it like that. And I would love to see, when people say this Me Too campaign, I would love to see them mention children, because no one has really mentioned the children yet. No one in Hollywood has championed the children, other than, Corey Feldman's come out. But that's really about it. Everyone else that has come out, they've had to retract their statements. They're still very scared, and it's about time. We know that there's one or two very famous people who, if they came out, could change this whole issue. And I think the goal is to make people comfortable about coming out. Just in the last 48 hours, I've had 3 conversations with people who are struggling about coming out with this information, and they're getting closer and closer to doing it, but they're still scared. And I think it was good that the LA District Attorney's Office said that they're finally going to open investigations. London is, New York is. Just like we saw with the Harvey Weinstein case, New York even did a sting on him. They had tape and they didn't prosecute. So now I think the pressure is on the government at the state and federal level to finally start doing something. I think they realize that they've been caught with their pants down. I think the NYPD was pressuring their prosecutors to do things, and now they look bad. I think LAPD has probably been pushing their district attorneys to do things. I don't think it's a lack of enforcement. I don't think it's the police's fault. I think it's a lack of prosecution. And I don't know if it's intentional, but sexual abuse is one of the hardest cases to prove. And in our film, An Open Secret, the most damning evidence we have is recorded confessions, which unfortunately wouldn't be used in a court of law and is usually what is needed to get proof on these people. And another misunderstanding of this situation, and people always say, well, why did it take them so long to come out, like in the Bill Cosby situation, women coming out 20, 30 years later. All the studies, if you look at it, it takes at least 10 or 20 years for the average person to admit that this happened to them and that they're ready to talk about it. So someone who's abused at 15 might not really be ready to talk about it until they're 35 or 40. I mean, we saw that repeatedly with the Catholic church scandal, and that's just the norm. So I think the public needs a better understanding of what these victims go through. And I think we need to change victim shaming. And everyone says, oh, everyone's proven, innocent until they're proven guilty. And that's true. But let's I think we're starting to recognize the patterns of powerful people and what they do when they have big PR and big lawyers against them. We certainly had a lot of intimidating letters and threats sent our way the last couple of years trying to make this film. We had a lot of press not want to cover it. We had a lot of distributors not want to put it out. We had a lot of film festivals wanted it first and then not want us to show up. So once this Harvey Weinstein thing broke, we knew we had to release the film for free for a limited period of time just to sort of support everyone that was finally coming to the forefront and talking about it and to keep the pressure on. That's what we need to do now. The victims that we're talking to, we're telling them, come out now. This is the best time to come out. And we're also trying to convince people with settlements. We know of a lot of big settlements, and it's those settlements that are keeping people quiet. And I think it's going to take a few brave people who are going to break out of those settlements. I think we're starting to see it in the Harvey Weinstein case, that once they do it, more people are going to do it and feel empowered to come forward.
Why do you think so many people in Hollywood are scared to come out? I mean, even as adults, even the ones that were children, like you said, long, long time ago and are just now coming out late. Do you think it's because they're kind of still in that Stockholm syndrome type thing where they kind of feel like this person has so much power over their lives that even, 10, 20 years down the road, that these people still could affect their lives in a way that, I mean, to me, that's just kind of scary, that the atmosphere that is in Hollywood like that.
Well, the reason we chose Hollywood was because it's an exaggerated situation that is happening in every small town. We all know that child sexual
Yeah.
abuse happens everywhere. But Hollywood, it happens on a different level. Instead of taking a kid to an ice cream store, you can offer him a role in a big movie, or you can fly him on a jet to London for a premiere. And the kids that go there are generally more susceptible. They're fame hungry. Most of the time they're unsupervised. They get emancipated legally at a young age. The industry encourages emancipation. And drugs are a big part of it. When you look back at a lot of the stars that died in the 80s and 90s, teen stars that died in their 20s, they got hooked on heroin. These guys are very smart about how they groom people, who they pick, and then they kind of control their lives through drugs, through mental manipulation, and then through career manipulation. So if you're starting out your life at like 8 or 9 years old to be an actor, and then by 16 you're kind of in with a crowd of child molesters, and then by 18 you're addicted to heroin, and you haven't been going to normal schools, and then maybe you're in a couple big roles, and then your career starts to fade a little bit. That's what they do. It's a process. I mean, they have guys who scout kids, and then they sort of groom them. They're working many kids at once. It's not just one kid. A typical pedophile might be working 10 to 30 kids at once, and it's basically sheeps and wolves. That's what it comes down to, and they're the wolves. And the kids that they pick on are even more susceptible than the kids in normal cities, normal towns with normal families, because a lot of times these kids are from single parent homes. They have drug problems. They're runaways. And they're easier to be taken advantage of, and they're more damaged. So that's why and then they have no one to turn to when this happens. No one believes them, and they have no money to support it. And so the only money and income they can make is from working in the industry, and they will pull that away from them in 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about earlier how it's not just happening to women, it's happening to men as well, and also children. So I've got a buddy who's from Southern California. He lives here now. And he was telling me a story the other day, when this whole Harvey Weinstein thing came out, about how when he was younger, he wanted to go into male modeling. And some girls that he knew were female models, and they had an agent, and they set up a meeting for him to go to. And I think he said he was like 19 or 20, 6'4" at that age, in shape young guy, goes in to sit down for this meeting, and your phone turned sideways again. Try to straighten that out. And then he goes into this meeting There you go. He goes into this meeting, and the guy goes, "All right, I'm going to need you to go down on me." And my buddy goes, "What?" He goes, "No, I'm just here for a part." He goes, "No, I'm going to need you to go down on me so we can continue this meeting and kind of get you in the door." And he says, "If you say that again, I'm going to jump over the desk and beat your ass." And he said the meeting continued. The guy stopped. And he said about 5 minutes into the meeting, and there's women, the girls that brought him there, he just nonchalantly goes, "I'm going to need you to go ahead and go down on me. I mean, this is how this works." And he said he just got up and walked off. He said that was his modeling career right there, 20 minutes in this meeting. And it was immediately, that's how it started off. And the guy had other people in the office, and he didn't have any shame about it. He didn't seem nervous. It was just such a natural thing for him to do. He was so used to doing that and so used to having that power over people that he probably had never even been turned down by anybody. And my buddy just got up and walked away. I mean, that's scary when you see it happening like that. And when the way he was told me the story about how this, this main agent guy just said it just with a straight face, his heart rate wasn't up or anything like that. It was just like asking for a cheeseburger or, "Hey, can I get a beer?" Just that normally. It was just so, to me, it was so shocking to hear that.
Yeah, it's not shocking to me. And just this past Friday, one of the biggest child agents in Hollywood was fired. I mean, he represented the kids that are in Stranger Things and in It, and he's in a circle of people that basically does what you just said. That's how they operate. And sorry about my phone here, man. Okay. And so that's what we're trying to break with this, and that's what we're trying to get people to come out and talk about that. And I was glad to see a lot of those kids quit and moved on to other agencies. And it's far worse than people could ever imagine. And I think this is the next dam to break.
So do you think it's happening to more kids than it isn't in Hollywood? Do you think that? What do you think the percentage is of young, like child actors that are in Hollywood that have to endure this type of behavior from these these Hollywood elites, or just these low-level people that can help even get you in the door to meeting people? I mean, how bad is the problem?
I think it's at least 50%. And I think the longer your career is, the higher that number is. And the more famous you are, that number goes up to 60, 75, 80%.
It really makes you think. I mean, when you see someone on movies now, like when I look at the Wahlbergs, he's a big guy now. You look at all these famous actors now, and you're thinking, oh my God, like you hear all this stuff, these new revelations about what's going on. Not that they're new, but they're finally being talked about in the mainstream. It really makes you think, like, what did that person have to do to get to where they are? And it makes you kind of sick at your stomach. Like, I don't even really want to watch a lot of movies now, because now when I see that and I see that person, I just think, oh my God, what did that person have to do to get to where they are, to be at this level that they're at? It's just disturbing.
Well, I don't know if anything happened to these guys, but in our film, for instance, Leonard DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire, when they were young, had a publicist who was a major pedophile and who took some pretty weird pictures of them. Now, I'm not saying he molested them or anything happened to them, but they've been around pedophiles who've been convicted. So, we've been approached by a lot of people who, there's major stars who were represented by pedophiles in our film that we don't want to out, but they could come out themselves. And I'm not saying that they were molested, but they were represented by these guys, and they knew people who were molested. Even there's one convicted pedophile in our film. His name is Brian Peck. He was kicked off a Nickelodeon show for molesting a kid. And then I got a call from several other kids who worked on that show, and they said there were 2 or 3 other pedophiles on that show at the same time. So I think there's a wall of kids who are ready to be coming out. We have also approached a lot of women for this film, but they were so damaged, and some of them are still active in the industry, that it's not a good time for them to come out. And I think it's hard to ask them to give up millions of dollars. I mean, millions and millions of dollars right now. I think it's one of those things where some of the main stars who might be in their early 20s right now, 15 or 20 years from now, will come forward with this story.
You would think that people would finally just say, you know what? Let's all get together. Let's all come out about this at once. Let's tear down the machine that is Hollywood and let's just rebuild it. Let's just start over in a sense. I mean, if we could have everybody come out and talk about this, I mean, the amount of love that would come from this country and around the world to these people to support them would be tremendous. I mean, these people would be boosted up, their careers would even go higher, I feel like. But I guess you just get stuck in that mindset that, these people are going to control you. They're going to look for you. They're going to threaten you. They're going to do this and that. And that's why I worry about Corey Feldman, because Corey Feldman's like, hey, I'm going to, I'm possibly going to release people, their names, this and that. And he keeps talking about it, but he's not doing it. And he's saying he's getting death threats. It just makes.
Well, we went to Corey early on, and Corey could have come through us if he wanted to. And we offered to protect him with legal money. We had a lot of money for this documentary. We hired a lot of lawyers. We did it right. We're very protected. We can't be intimidated. So we were a little disappointed that Corey didn't come out with us, but that was a couple years ago, and I see what he's trying to do now. I just don't know if that's the right approach. I don't know if he really knows what he's getting into in terms of doing this correctly from a legal standpoint. So I can't speak to that. I can only tell you that we give Corey in many opportunities to participate in our film, and we also assured him we would protect him, and he still chose not to do it. So I don't know what his reasoning was. I do believe Corey, what happened to him. And one of the pedophiles that Corey was involved in is in our film, Marty Weiss. So there's a connection there. And there's connections. This is almost like an organized crime syndicate, the way that these guys are connected and operate. And I hope that the feds prosecute this case using RICO statutes, because they can. This is a massive conspiracy. I'm not talking a conspiracy in the sense of it not being real. I'm saying it's real, and it goes all the way up to billionaires, right? And it's lower level guys who basically find the people and groom the kids in the nightclub that bring them up to parties in the hills, and then it's almost like a fashion show for which kid they're going to pet at night. And I'm not saying anything that's over anything you want to do over 18, go for it. I don't care. But the way they're using 13, 14, 15-year-old kids, even younger, and one of our victims was 11. It's disgusting. And the worst part is, I think the problem with Hollywood is, this is probably only 2 to 3 or 4% of people in Hollywood. But the problem is, I think so many people kind of feel complicit or are disappointed that they haven't done anything, that what's going to happen is companies like Disney, Nickelodeon, all of them are going to be massively sued, big time, because they haven't been enforcing the regulations properly. They've been way too lax about background checks on these kids, on the people that are with kids. That's where the change is going to come from. It's going to be exactly what happened to the Catholic Church scandal. Is there's just going to be hordes of lawyers suing the studios, and they need to get on top of it right now. There needs to be a purging. Firing one guy at Amazon, firing Harvey Weinstein, that's not enough. I think we need scores of people, if not hundreds of people, to be fired. That's what it's going to need to change. It's going to need to be more of a corporate takeover, because that's the problem with Hollywood. It's not as corporate as it seems, and it needs to step it up.
That seems to be the problem in our society today. We always want to find that one person to blame, and then afterwards we feel like, okay, it's over with. So Harvey Weinstein essentially is the fall guy. He's the bad guy in Hollywood, and then they just want to get rid of him, and then pretend like, oh, it's normal now. He's the monster. He's gone. He's in jail, or he's not allowed to be here. So it's all good now. And everybody always wants that quick fix, that quick thing, but it's so much deeper, like you said. And there's still, even though it's not a large percent of people doing it, the small percentage of people that are doing it have a large effect across the entire spectrum that is Hollywood. My buddy works in films, another a buddy of mine, and he does TV shows and things like that. And he actually met with he said it's one of the top 5 female directors in Hollywood. He hasn't told me her name yet, but hopefully I'm trying to get him to warm up to where he tells me what happened to him. And he's an older guy, married, family, all that. And this lady is like, all right, we're going to offer you all this money. And then it turns from being extremely professional to now she's asking for sexual favors and this and that. And from what he's telling me, she mostly targets veterans who have gotten out of the military, have some film experience, and uses the fact that they're kind of, hey, I'm out now. I need to, I'll do anything to kind of get my life back on track now that I'm out of the military, because we all know that veterans have a kind of a struggle when they get out. I struggled for a while, and many other ones that I know struggle when they get out with trying to find work and how to reintegrate into society. And she is using these guys and knowing that they need that help, they need that money, and she's taking advantage of him. So I'm trying to get him to come out, and I know that would be pretty big, but there's just, the more and more you talk to people, the more and more you listen, the deeper and deeper the problem is, and you start understanding just how wide it is and how big it is. And it's not just Hollywood, like you said, it's in DC, it's all over the place. When the whole, the Pizzagate thing came out, people were, it was such a bad thing to talk about pedophilia, and now we finally have this coming out again now with Feldman and Weinstein and other people coming forward, and now people are starting to want to talk about it. It's just disgusting that anybody would want to do something like that to a child. And do you think that something's ever going to happen? Do you think that the FBI, because we know our government can be corrupt in so many aspects, do you actually think that they will crack down on a lot of these people and start actually putting these bastards in jail, so to say?
I don't. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're working quietly under the scenes the last couple of years. When we first started our investigation, we reached out to them. Homeland Security was probably the most receptive. But what they were focusing on was more international. They were like, if you can make international connections, we can definitely help you with that. So then on the local level, you're dealing more with the district attorney's office. And in Los Angeles, what happens is a lot of the cases end up getting settled. They die in settlement because it's tough to prosecute. Even if they know the guy did it, they basically explain to the family that, like, hey, if we push this, there's a good chance he's going to get off. So they end up taking a settlement. And even when the cases go through, like in our film, Marty Weiss, he got 6 months for raping a kid for years, and just I heard just a couple weeks ago, he was back in court trying to lower his probation, and the kid had to go back in there and stand up against him. So it better happen soon, because if what we could find out with a few private investigators and some documentary filmmakers, I'm pretty sure the FBI can find out a lot more than we can. And if you really connect all the dots in our film, obviously we can't say everything that is in our film. There's a lot that's not in our film because we'd be sued. So everything in our film is unsuable. But it's just the beginning. And if you look at what is in our film and who's involved, you can start to piece together connections, okay? And these are very smart people. They've been hanging out with each other for decades. They've been working together and supporting each other, and they have a lot of money. And I don't want to say they control that city, but they also have a lot of lawyers and law firms that work for them and protect them. And Hollywood's always been this way. I just don't think it's been this bad. It's due for a sea change. And one of the ideas that I've even thought of and might be considered radical is, I think the Oscars are finished. I mean, they have enough problems with racism, not really representing what America is anymore. And now this, think of all the pedophiles. I mean, Roman Polanski, some other people that they've honored. You know, Harvey Weinstein has been the god of the Oscars for the last 20 years. It's, you know, what are we watching anymore? Who are these people? You know, how many Oscar winners have come out and said, "Ooh, I knew about Harvey, what Harvey was doing." It's like, you know what, dude, melt down that Oscar and go give your money to some children's home, okay? Because it's pathetic that you didn't stand up and do something when you could. I think we're seeing how pathetic Hollywood truly is, and what a lack of leadership there is
Well,
in that town.
it's funny because there's such a double standard. You know, when the whole what was it Hollywood Insider thing with Bush came out about Trump saying, when you're rich, women they let you grab them by the pussy, and people just melted down. You had like George Clooney, you had all these actors in Hollywood who were like, Trump's a sexist, misogynist, racist pig, blah 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 blah. And here to find out, it's just these same people were doing the same stuff, except not, if not worse. And it just shows this double standard that they're right and everyone else is wrong. That they're allowed to do it because they're the star. They can do this. They're the one that makes all the money, and you see them trying to shame these other people, but they're just as complicit in doing the exact same stuff.
Yeah, and it's a lot worse. I mean, they all have alternate personalities. You know, everyone in the industry knows that. And I think America's finally catching on to these fake personalities, and we need some authentic people in the industry. There needs to be a lot of new blood. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not one of these people that wants to bash Hollywood. I love Hollywood. I love films. I love books. It's what I do. It's what I've dedicated my life to. I just think it's a privilege to work in that industry. I don't even consider it a real job. You know, there's people out there doing much harder work for much less money every day. So, and when you're working on a film, you've got hundreds, if not thousands, of other people relying on you. It's like a small corporation or a venture capital operation that you're running. And you can't be unprofessional like this. And just think about it, like Harvey Weinstein's going to Cannes, and all these people are trying to sell him films and be professional, and he's just trying to rape women in his hotel room, and that's the king of the industry. That's what he's doing. And I don't know too many other businesses that operate that. Like, I'm not saying other industries don't have this problem. Even the military has this problem. But Hollywood has it worse because they can use it. There's the allure of Hollywood, and it just seems like sick, powerful people, mostly men, get into it for all the wrong reasons. I mean, if you're a successful, wealthy producer, you should be able to get a woman without having to rape her. So, and I don't even think I think in Harvey's case, I think you clearly see how sick the guy is, right? It's a power trip for all these people. It's an abusive system, and it's not professionally run. There's really no way to work your way. There's no like corporate structure, like if you were working your way up from IBM, it's basically you're an assistant, and then really your career is based off of who your boss was and how you get your next job. And I think that's part of the problem too. And I don't know if that's going to change. Hollywood has it down. It's still the best place in the world for entertainment. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about this situation ruining that. I mean, we export a lot of American culture, a lot of money, a lot of American values through Hollywood. We can't lose our leadership in Hollywood. It's important, and we're doing that by letting these scumbags
Yeah, I went back
run
and
the
watched some of the
industry.
old footage of like I believe it was Gwyneth Paltrow on the Tonight Show, and you can see her. She's like, "Yeah, Harvey Weinstein's great. He can get you a lot of opportunities. You just have to go that extra mile with Harvey." And you could see this look on her face, like she's like almost like begging for help while she's live on TV. And everyone's just like, "Oh, that's so funny," clapping. And, David Letterman sitting there clapping. And you could see this look on her face, like where she was like, wanted to cry. And then you see that video of, Courtney Love. She's like, "Yeah, if you ever get invited up to Harvey Weinstein's Four Seasons room, don't go." There's all these people over the years that have been hinting at this problem, but no one just took the time to stop and go, "Wow, this lady needs our help. Let's do something."
And a lot of that blame goes on the press.
Yeah.
Like, I blame guys like Peter Bart. He's 80 years old now. He used to run Variety. You know, where was he? He was always writing great stuff about Harvey, but he never printed anything bad about him. You know, where was the LA Times? No one out in Hollywood did anything about it. It was a factory town, you know? It's just like in the movie Chinatown, directed by a pedophile, you know? But that's the truth of the town, and I think those days have to be over. It's like when Vegas was going down and corporations saved it. Corporations need to save Hollywood right now, and maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe the Googles and the Facebooks and the Amazons are going to come in and clean it up, even though I know they have their own problems too, but not to the degree, I think, of what Hollywood does. And it needs to be a change of culture in this industry. Really does.
Well, thanks for the time, Matt, man. It's been a great conversation, very eye-opening, and it's truly disturbing to see the stuff that's going on. We're going to play your documentary later on this afternoon, too, an open secret, so send me that link if you can, and appreciate you for allowing us to show it. This is such an important time to get this information out there, and hopefully we can get other people to want to come forward so they can feel comfortable and feel safe to be able to expose Hollywood and a lot of these elites for what's really going on and who these people are. Thank you for your time today.
Well, thanks for having me. And also, please have people go to our Twitter, because we're constantly breaking news. It's at an open secret, and we hashtag an open secret. And we have a couple of big stories that will be coming out in the next couple of days. And we also have a YouTube channel with many clips that they can go down a rabbit hole for hours if they want more information on this. And I'm sorry about my laptop dying and being on a phone that keeps shutting off on me here tonight, but I appreciate your patience.
How else can they follow you as well? What other avenues can people come to? What's your website? Things like that.
We have a big Facebook, at an open secret doc on Facebook. So once you just Google an open secret, you'll find our Facebook, our Twitter. We're on Google Plus. Our YouTube channel has 1 million clips that people can look at, and we cut up the film in different ways. And here's what I suggest: the one takeaway I want, if people watch the movie tonight, there's 3 minutes of the movie from the 48 to about 51st minute in the film. You see Bryan Singer doing the DVD commentary of X-Men with Brian Peck, who is now a convicted pedophile. Okay? And then in the background is another guy named Gary Goddard, who he points out, who has never been convicted, but has had allegations of being a pedophile brought against him. So just watch that clip. This is the biggest franchise for Fox Studios, and it's infested with at least one convicted pedophile and potentially others, and it'll be disgusting. The pedophile is literally working at a hot dog stand.
Dear Lord. Well, that's a lot to take in. It's heartbreaking to see that kind of stuff.
48 minutes to 50 minutes. For anyone that hates documentaries, just watch that 3 minutes and you'll be blown away. It speaks for itself.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it. We'll get you back on soon, hopefully, whenever some more people come forward and want to talk and get some more information and input on what they have to say as well. So thank you.
Well, thanks for having me, and thank you for your service as well.
I appreciate it. We'll see you later.
All right, bye.
All right, guys, this is LibertyOneTV.com. I'm Joe Biggs. This is Rogue Right, and we will be airing the documentary on here, An Open Secret, later on this afternoon. Stay tuned. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Joe Biggs with LibertyOneTV.com, and you are watching Rogue Right. Today, I'm joined in studio by my good buddy Michael Harris, former veteran, complete and total all-around badass, host of the Hooch Podcast, right?
Yes, sir, the Hooch Podcast.
Where can they find that at?
They can find it on Facebook. We're on every platform. You can actually listen to it on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play.
And what kind of stuff do you guys talk about?
We're a veteran. It's a variety show type of thing. You know, we talk about what we would talk about on deployments. A lot of toilet humor. So if you don't like, cuss words and anti-PC talk, don't listen to it. And we talk about current events. What's trending?
Well, if you're just now tuning in, which you probably are because you just turned on your TV or your Roku or your Facebook because you got an alert, hey, guess what? The JFK files have been released. You can go to archives.gov/research/JFK, and you have the ability now to search the JFK database. It was just put up, and let's look through some of this. I don't know. I don't even know if we're going to have enough time to do all this. I don't even know how to go through this. I'm going to have to learn how to do this. Standard search.
The magic bullet.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to do that later because that's going to be a little hard to try to navigate. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in the country right now. We've got this whole thing, November 4th, Antifa is threatening violence. And at first I was thinking, and it hit me yesterday, I was thinking it was going to be bogus. Like, November 4th is not going to be anything. But with the allegations of Harvey Weinstein coming out, the amount of money the left has into Hollywood, and Hollywood is now falling, they need to take some focus off of that. And then you also have the Uranium One deal that is just a huge thing now. It's everywhere. Yep. Everyone's being forced to talk about it. How the Obama administration, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, the State Department, all were complicit in this pay-to-play, bribery, scheming with Russia government in cahoots to get 20% of our uranium. The left is going to need something in the media to be huge to take away the focus off of the Democrats, the DNC, their love child Hillary Clinton and Obama being complete and total failures. I think now November 4th is going to be big, and you have to think about this too. George Soros is worth around $27 billion. He just dumped $18 billion of his money into his Open Society Foundation that his son also helps run as well. His son is a graduate of Berkeley, and Berkeley is an area where we see Antifa have a huge foothold, so to say, a stronghold in that area. I think November 4th is going to be pretty crazy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so also, too, man. And it's always the shiny object. You know, every time, especially on the left, whenever some major comes out that can ruin people, they have to throw out a shiny object. And the shiny object is going to be the 4th of November. Now, you know, do I really think it's going to be as bad as where Austin's going to be burning? No. I think it's going to be small attacks against certain people, conservatives mainly. You know, they already talked about people with NRA stickers on their car. They talked about...
I gotta go get one now.
Yeah, that's on my car. They talk about the thin blue line sticker, which I have on my car. The infidel sign, which I have on my truck. So I'm dead in their eyes. They're gonna get me.
It's funny, they doxed me. You know what doxing is, right? Where they put all your information online. Or they doxed me, and they got my name right, but they got everything else wrong. Apparently, I don't live in Austin, Texas. I live somewhere else. My phone number's wrong. My email addresses are wrong. I'm like, whoever's doxing for Antifa, you guys suck at life. I mean, you need a better doxer. You need a better nerd out there because you don't have anything right. My buddy's like, dude, they got all your information on the internet, man. Look at it. I'm like, holy shit, this is hilarious. I was like, not one thing's right except for the picture of me and my name.
Yeah, there was this chick.
There's some guy in like Saskatchewan right now, like showing up like, dude, are you Joe Biggs? Antifa, bitch. And like hitting some random person.
I'm not Joe Biggs. So yeah, there was this chick that tried to do that on it was on a live feed, and I was getting into a kind of a back and forth with her, and she was like, I could find out your information in 5 minutes. I said, do it. So she went on, she goes, you're Michael Harris from Killeen, Texas. I was like, no, I'm not from Killeen. I don't live in Killeen. So she thought she had me. I was like, yeah, keep trying. You know how many Michael Harrises are in the world?
Yeah.
That's a very common name.
I have an account online where I can look up anybody's name as long as I have their name, middle initial, and partial birth date or something like that, or maybe an address or a city. I can narrow it down, and then you have to look at the ages and all that. But yeah, typically when I look at people on People Finder or whatever like that, there's so many people with the same name. You've got to be very specific in the details you put in to actually locate those people. And then you can look up criminal backgrounds, property owned, businesses started, all that stuff. But you've got to make sure that you got the right person, because like I was looking up someone the other day that was, trying to start some crap, and there was like 900 of the same names, and I'm just sitting there like, wow.
I quit.
I give up on this dumbass.
Well, good luck doxing me. What are you going to find? I was in the military for 20 years. Try it.
Opioid crisis labeled public health emergency. President calls it plague. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. Amazon Key. You hear about this? You see the stuff I put out yesterday? So Amazon Key is this new idea, this new technology in a sense that Amazon is coming up with. Let me look it up really quick and let's see.
I know exactly what yep, I remember.
Amazon Key is a new service that lets couriers unlock your front door.
Oh, wow.
So trendy. Are you ready to let Amazon into your home?
Yes.
Do you have an Amazon Echo?
Yes.
You do?
It's off now. Someone told me that.
Well, it's always on, actually.
Yeah, well, someone told me it records everything.
Yes, so most people have already given Amazon ears into your home, your conversations with your wife, your dog, what you do, what you say, your breathing, your sleeping habits. They can map it. They know what you're doing. They hear it. And now they've come up with a clever way. I don't think it's clever, but they think it's clever, and I'm sure many other trendy Americans will. A clever way to allow their employees to now enter your home. So if you're not home to receive a package, because Amazon can deliver 24/7 whenever now. They've got some deal where they can, my wife ordered something on Amazon Prime. She goes, it's going to be delivered today. And I go, it's Sunday. The mail doesn't run. Are you retarded? She goes, no, Amazon can run. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a mishap on the receipt. They're going to bring it Monday. Don't worry about it. Like 10 minutes later, hey, it's Amazon. I'm like, son of a bitch. But yeah, so we've given them an ear. We're giving them an eye. We've seen through documentaries like Sun City Cell how the Taliban and other Al-Qaeda operatives and people like that have come from Mexico into our country through El Paso, into Anthony, New Mexico, meet with sleeper cell leaders within our country. How many of these people that are pro-jihadi, pro-ISIS, working in Amazon, and now see this as an ability to have an entrance into your home? And it's always the trendiest people. It's always like the John McCain stuff who are going to do this kind of stuff.
Yep.
The people that are going to be kind of higher up because they're busy, they don't have time to do this, plus they like to be pampered. People get their groceries delivered now. Like, people don't even go out and get their own groceries. We've taken that experience away. I think this has F up all over it. I think Amazon's going to get sued down the road for this one.
Or someone's going to get shot. Because say I did do it and I'm sleeping in my house, I'm recovering from a freaking hangover or something, and I'm knocked out in the bed and I hear somebody walk through my front door. Every time you walk through my door, it's an alert. It goes, front door open. So someone opens my door and I'm in my house. First thing I'm doing is pulling out my freaking pistol. So it's a dangerous thing.
I think everyone should go buy pit bulls.
Rottweilers, pit bulls.
Rottweilers or something like that. Door open.
See a dead delivery guy in your front door.
But here's the thing, though. You don't know who you're working with. You don't know who has sympathies to some kind of radical agenda. What was it? It was Minnesota, the guy who worked at that factory, that guy who converted to Islam and chopped his coworker's head off. Remember that? It was like a year ago. Mm-hmm. And I think it was in Minnesota or something like that. He worked at a factory. It was a meat processing plant or something.
It was a female.
Yeah, it was a female that she got her head chopped off by this guy. So here's the thing. How many future head lobbers are out there that are working at Amazon? Amazon, this one guy talks about how there's really no diversity within Amazon in certain areas. He gets fired. And how trendy and liberal has Amazon become within their ranks to go, we're going to bring in these cool kids from Syria. It'll be so cool. Everyone's going to think we're so diverse. And then this guy's like, hello, snack on. It all takes is one of these guys to walk into your home, hide in your freaking closet, and you get comfortable. You start getting shit house. You're smoking a bowl or whatever. Hey, I'm going to do some shrooms tonight, buddy. And next thing you know, Jihadi John walks out with a damn curved freaking sword and just...
off with his head. Yeah, I will never do that. I'm not that trendy, man. Trendy gets you killed.
But yeah, it puts this thing on your door. Let me see. It says 12 years ago, Amazon launched Prime, a subscription service that entitled members to free 2-day shipping in the U.S. Since then, it has added a number of options to make every delivery faster and more convenient. That's it. They always want to sell it to you as convenience. You need this because you're so busy. You don't have the time to do this, so we're going to do it for you.
Yep. Prime
customers can get same-day delivery and drop off with an hour or two on some items. Of course, customers aren't always home to receive their packages, so Amazon started putting lockers in nearby convenience stores and building lobbies to even show off drones that could drop the packages right into your backyard. Today, it's taken the obvious next step to introduce a service that will allow you to have Amazon couriers walk into your home. It looks like they'll put a box on your door. They scan a card or whatever, and they come in.
I don't know why anyone would trust any person to come into their house that they don't know.
It doesn't matter. You give anybody out there the ability just to walk freely into homes.
Mm-hmm.
People get corrupted easy.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you start seeing these nice TVs and,
Yep.
hey, your wife just left you. You can't make child support. You're down in your luck, or you just got fired from your job. Your dog died or whatever. And, you know, you're just like, you know, a man. They say the most dangerous person in the world is a man with nothing left to
Yep.
lose. And someone's going to turn and start stealing crap or just start, you know, think about the Harvey Weinsteins that are out there. They're going to be doing weird stuff, coming into your home, going through your wife's laundry.
Yep. Smelling her underwear.
Yeah. Oh, man. I walk in the door and there's a damn dude with an Amazon shirt on.
And how quick can you just walk in someone's front door and get a quick layout of everything?
Yeah,
It's
just
very easy.
take a picture.
Yeah, all they do is walk in. They say, okay, come. They do a quick layout. They leave. They know how to get in your house already because they have access to it. They know you're not going to be there, so they come in. They know exactly where they're going. I see that TV. I'm coming back for that TV.
And their argument's going to be, well, there's going to be an entire system that's going to say only during this time and that time can these guys get access, you know, through us. Their card won't be authorized until that exact same time, so we know that they're there. There's only a this and that. Either thing, you let a shady person in your home, they get that picture, they see what they want, they'll come back later. They'll kick in the door, they'll do whatever, they'll case the joint, figure out when you're not home, and if they start making enough deliveries and know when you're not home, then they know when to go do something. Hey, it's their day off.
And everything can be hacked.
Yeah.
So even if they put that little box on your door, some hacker is going to sit in his basement behind a computer and figure out how to get into those systems.
Yeah. Screw you, Amazon. What else is there? How do you think Trump's doing so far?
Dude, you know I'm a big fan of the Don.
The Don one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Don, man. I think he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and people hate him for it. You know?
It's amazing. Hey, I'm going to do this and that and that and this and that. And everyone seems so shocked when he does it. Like, he literally told you last year when he was running what he'd be doing, and he's actually doing exactly what he said he's going to do.
And they hate him for it.
And they're mad. They're like, oh, my God, he did this. He's like, he said that a year ago that he was going to do that. Why are you shocked? Like, you should have known that this was going to happen. And why are you worried about it, other than the fact that so many people out there are scared that, you know, if he does drain the swamp, now the corruption will start slowly dying in D.C., and they're going to have no way to make extra pocket money.
And, you know, he is actually draining the swamp. I mean, look at everything that's coming out in Hollywood. Look at everything that's coming out in politics. You know, he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, draining the swamp, exposing everything. You know, I got into it with a family member on Facebook, and he was like, we have no leadership. And he was talking about him, you know, the Don tweeting and all this stuff. And I said, no, tweet away. Because he's talking directly to his base. And people want that interaction. So he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. We have no leadership in the White House.
CNN Don Lemon files police report after alleged white nationalist fear.
Oh, my God.
You said you had a white nationalist guy who wants to debate you, right? And then and he wants you to come on a platform that he can kind of have control over. But then when you said, hey, let's come on a neutral platform, he kind of backed off and wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
It's always funny how people do that.
I mean, he's your typical Richard Spencer, Jarrett Taylor youth. You know, they want the fourth right. That's exactly what the little come over, the fash, what do they call it, the fash? The fashy?
I don't know. All right, guys, we're going to go over here. We're going to talk about white nationalism. We're going to listen to Depeche Mode.
Oh, and
we're so trendy.
We're a European nation, and he says all types of crazy stuff.
They wear the same crap that trendy libs do.
Yep. They consider, well, there's like three, I think there's three different type of white nationalists.
It's like metrosexual nationalists.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. They wear the three-piece suits, and they consider themselves these intellects, and they're getting it all from freaking Richard Spencer, man.
He sounds like he is a complete and total flamer. Not saying it's okay, you can be whatever you want. I don't give a shit.
A flamer.
But I was like, all right, guys, let's go over here. All right, today we're going to talk about being white and why it's important. Where's your tiki torch at? You don't have the right haircut. I don't like those suspenders. Does anybody have Depeche Mode? All right, guys, let's walk through here. We're going to terrorize these people.
Yeah, I mean,
every time I watch these videos, like, wow, this is the guy that's really motivating all these people to like follow him. Like, he sounds like he's ordering from start. He sounds like a barista.
Yeah, the same dude told me that 60% of Americans agree with his ideology of white Americans. I was like, that's a lot, dude. 60%.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I think it's pretty stupid.
Yeah, and then if you look at Richard Spencer, he has like 10,000 Twitter followers, and I'm like, Why is the media giving this guy a platform?
Well, most of the people that follow him are people who want to write negatively about him,
Yeah.
or just, want to hear what fucking retarded shit he has to say, basically. And yeah, they always give him a platform. Paul Joseph Watson's the only one I ever see call him out on Twitter. Like, why is Richard Spencer trending on Twitter? Why are you allowing this guy to continue doing this? And here's another thing, like I've said before. I understand how certain white people believe that that they're now becoming a minority, and then there's all this injustices or whatever. More white people are killed by cops. I can understand how people think there's issues that are surrounding it, and that's fine. I don't really care. I just have an issue when you think only white people should be dominant. Only white people should, have the right to do this and that. Like, all humans should be able to do whatever the hell they want to do. I don't care what you look like, as long as you're, not a freaking dumbass. That's it. I don't see people for anything other than like who you are as a person, what you represent, and all that. And are you a dumbass?
Yeah, and just all these separatist groups, man. You have the white nationalists, you have the Black Panthers, you have La Raza. I mean, they're all separatist groups.
Yeah.
Even within the Democratic Party, you have the Black Caucus, you have the Hispanic Caucus. You have all these separate groups within a party, and they just preach what they do. We're separate within our party, so we want separatism per se.
Yeah.
They don't believe in unity at all. The DNC wants to be separate.
Well, I mean, they are truly a party of segregation. I mean, and they enable people to be slaves on this Democrat plantation.
Yep.
At least people on the right want to empower individuals to become entrepreneurs, to be successful, to get off their asses, to go out and do something, to be a good family man, to create and to earn, and to have that pride in doing something themselves. Whereas the Democrat Party wants you to leech off the government and get into a system that becomes so hard to get out of, then you become dependent on it. It's almost like the Democrat Party is like heroin.
Yep.
They get you on it, and then you can't get off of it because you're stuck there. Like, hey, look, I gave you this low-income housing. Now I need you to vote for me because that's kind of how it works.
Or the Republicans are going to take it away from you.
Yeah.
That's what they always say.
We're the bad guys, but they're the bad guys. I mean, liberals have Stockholm Syndrome, and it's a suicide gene.
Yep.
Ooh, we love our Muslims. We love our Somalis. Oh, they're so good. Oh, they're so sweet.
Well, he was just one guy. Don't blame the whole religion. Boom. Okay, it's two. There was two bad guys. You get a guy running people over with cars and stuff in New York or wherever, and they still want to let these people in.
Yeah.
Good job, liberalism.
Well, it's time to ban cell phones, U-Haul trucks, guns, knives, rocks, pretty much anything that we could pick up and move.
Yes. And that will solve all our problems. And we just hashtag to stop the problem, and that's definitely going to fix it.
Yeah. Well, we have to change our profile picture to whatever flag of that nation's affected by an act of radical Islam.
Hashtag thoughts and prayers. Problem fixed.
And then the liberals go, well, Stephen Paddock was a white dude, and he killed 59 people, so that means white people are the biggest issue in the world right now, so we must eradicate white people. And I go, well, yeah, that's one dude who screwed up and did a lot of effed up stuff, but there's not like a large pattern of that going on. Right now in this world, we have an issue with radical Islam, and the fact that they're moving across out of their lands and invading essentially into other countries through open borders, and trying to install Sharia law and implement more radical ideas. I showed a documentary a couple weeks ago called The Jihadis Next Door. Have you seen that one?
No.
It is eye-opening. Because you think that, like these guys are like Trojan horsing. Like, you think of these guys, they're hiding in plain sight. They're coming in, and then they jump out at the last second. And we're like, oh, my God, you guys are here. We didn't know you guys existed. And then they start killing people. These guys in London are just walking up and down the street with megaphones going, you must convert to Islam, ISIS is the way, and they're holding the black flag of Khorasan, the black Al-Qaeda flag, and they're waving it around provocatively in the streets, going across the street from mosques, trying to get young kids coming out of there and convert them into more radicalized pro-ISIS ways, and the London police are like, man, you just can't do this, man.
Oh, no.
And it's just like, what?
I mean, this whole caliphate, whatever they call it, it's been going on for centuries, man. You think about the Ottoman Empire, they did the same thing. And it's history repeating itself. The Ottoman Empire moved all through Europe, started conquering all these European nations until they got to, Austria, and then it ended there. So, I mean, history repeating itself, Ottoman Empire is rising again, and their name is ISIS.
Have you been watching any NFL games?
Hell no.
Yeah, me neither. I gave up on that crap.
Yeah, I mean, the whole kneeling thing, I got it. You know, you always get these people out there who say, oh, well, that's their First Amendment right and all this other stuff. I said, we understand that, dude. That's your First Amendment right to kneel all you want. But it's also my First Amendment right to call you a freaking douchebag.
Yeah.
It's my First Amendment right not to agree with what you're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're not saying they can't do it. We're just saying, like, there's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, and the left does this to the right. You know, we talk about stuff, you know, or, you know, the left always wants to politicize, you know, these shootings, and they start talking about gun control. And we're like, it's kind of not the time and the place to really talk about this. Let's talk about the people that have been killed, and let's talk about how we can actually get to the root of the problem of this. And they automatically always want to jump to the extreme on something.
I think it was Hillary Clinton was the first one to come out on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, she goes,
first
this
one.
is the NRA's fault. And the NRA are the same types of people who want to legalize silencers. Just imagine how many more people would have been killed if silencers would have been used in this massacre. And then that's when I did a video saying, well, okay, let's talk about this. Concert rating, or the concert decibel rating at a concert, a live show is 115 decibels or 112, or no, 108, my bad. 108, 109, somewhere in there. That's how loud it is. You've been to a concert.
Yes.
It's loud. It's only 108 decibels. A fully automatic gun, like a 240 Bravo or 249 SAW or something like that, running through, that's going to be like 140 decibels. If you silence it, it will drop down 12 decibels. So you drop 140 minus 12, you do the math, that's still louder than 108 decibels.
Yep.
So regardless if a silencer would be there on there or not, everybody in that fucking crowd would have heard those guns going off.
Unless you have a ghost gun.
Yeah, a ghost gun. And then usually those are the super sneaky squirrel guys.
Yeah.
Shooting those. They come out of helicopters and black masks. They look like jihadis or whatever, like fast roping down.
Like some Jason Bourne dudes.
Silencers aren't silent. They are suppressing the noise into a decibel rating that can make it a little bit more easier for you to be able to take, in a sense. And even if you shoot a weapon full auto, silenced, after so long, it's still going to affect your hearing. It's still going to hurt. That's good for semi-automatic fire. But when you sustain that fire for a while, it just doesn't really matter. It's kind of, you're still going to hear it.
And the silencers wouldn't last too long on a fully automatic weapon anyway. It eventually melt and destroy the weapon.
Yeah.
So, Hillary, you're an idiot.
Hillary Clinton, today is your birthday, so go F yourself. We don't care about your birthday. Happy birthday to everyone out there, though, except Hillary Clinton. So if you're watching the show today, happy birthday, unless your name's Hillary Clinton, and you can go screw yourself because you're the most corrupt, evil person to ever walk the face of the earth. We don't like you. You need to just go away.
Yeah.
But you're like herpes. You just keep coming back. It's horrible. It's nasty. It's disgusting. You are a STD.
Yeah, I guess Bill's going to take her to Orgy Island for her birthday bash.
She's loving it.
Ugh. Ugh.
Hey, I want to hang out with my favorite buddy, Jeffrey Epstein. Hey, can Harvey come too? That's all I really want, Bill, please.
How old is Hillary now? Like 80?
I think she's like 300. She's like a freaking demon.
Yeah, she's a freaking reptilian. She's hibernating right now.
I don't think she hibernates.
That's why she wears those pantsuits, man. She's hiding her scales.
She's the most screwed up individual in the world. And you know what? I think the reason that Hillary and Bill stay married is because if you're married, you can't, what is it called? If you go to court, you can't talk about the other or whatever. So if they were to like indict them, they wouldn't be able to talk negatively about each other because they're married. I can't remember the term for that right now. I was thinking about it the other day. But I think that's why they stay married. Because obviously they don't have any interest in one another.
No.
And Bill's out doing his thing, and she's out with, Uma Abedin, and they're wearing their ski mask and doing their thing.
Anthony Weiner.
Yeah. It's Hillary, Huma, and Weiner.
Yeah, having a threesome while Bill's watching in the background. Oh, Hillary, go ahead, Hillary.
Howdy ho. Hey, so Vet Fest is something you just told me about the other day. Vet Fest is in Austin, Texas. It's November 18th from 12 to 5 p.m. And then there's Vet Fest After Dark. Tell me about that. I want to get this information out there for people. It's going to be at the Veterans of Foreign Warfare Post, 8787 on 500 VFW Road, Austin, Texas, 78753. It looks pretty cool. So what is it? Is this the first one ever? Have they done it before?
Well, this is the second year. They did it this time, or November last year. It's a little smaller this time. The guy that's running it and his team, they have like, I forget how many vendors. I mean, there's a bunch. So they're going to have a little bit of something out there for everyone, you know, when it comes to veteran business, you know, anything that any veteran's looking for, it's probably going to be there. And Vet Fest After Dark is another event because last year, Denny, who hosts Vet Fest, he said right after Vet Fest was done, it was like poof, smoke, everyone's gone. And he's like, now he's doing Vet Fest After Dark to get all the vendors to, you know, shake hands, rub elbows, and have a couple drinks. And we're going to have a couple musicians out there. And it's $10 a ticket. So if you just go to Facebook and you type in Vet Fest 2017, you'll see the event. You'll see the poster. Just click on there. Then you go into Vet Fest After Dark, buy your $10 ticket, and you get 5 vet musicians, indie guys, performing.
And is it family friendly? Bring little kids and all that? So I can bring a little Rugrat out there?
It's family friendly.
Hey, Barkley, you want to go?
It's free barbecue, and I forget the name of the barbecue company, but the food is going to be free, and you get a T-shirt, and you get a little grab bag.
Awesome.
And then there's going to be other vendors out there if you want to purchase some stuff. And the Hooch is going to be out there doing a live feed. So. And
I'm going to be on that, right?
Yeah.
What? That's what I'm talking about. Well, this is just still a show about nothing. It's just kind of hanging out. I already had my guest on earlier, Matt Valentinas, who was talking about his documentary, An Open Secret, about pedophilia within Hollywood and just how long it's been going on, how bad the problem is. If you're just now joining us, this is LibertyOneTV.com. You're watching Rogue Right. Go sign up today and subscribe, please. Don't be like those guys sitting at Starbucks right now with their legs crossed in the skinniest jeans, stopping the flow of testosterone naturally needed to go out and hunt, kill bears, save babies, save kittens from burning buildings, and just all around reproducing and making the world a better place. Get on the right side of things. Join LibertyOneTV.com. Use promo code ROGUE, ROGUE, and that'll get you in the door to everything else. What do you think is one of the biggest things that's happening right now in the country we should be talking about? You know, a lot of people are worried about North Korea. I'm not really worried about North Korea. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, North Korea's been talking for years, man. They're just all talk. And I think China or Japan, they threatened them too. They said, hey, you need to tone it down or else. So, you know, that little fat Kim Jong fat boy is Rocket Man is just running his mouth, and he's just trying to see how far Trump will go. I said, don't mess with the Don, man. He'll explode you. You know?
I mean, I'm just surprised we haven't just dropped over there with a couple, you know, Delta guys or something like that, and just really quick.
Yeah, it'll be over with.
Breaking news out of North Korea. Pyongyang is reporting that Kim Jong-un's neck was slit last night due to a super sneaky squirrel guy who was a ghost door gunner for a NASA spacecraft has jumped out from the longest free fall ever from the International Space Station and killed the guy, and then used a Elon Musk rocket to blast himself back into outer space. Good luck, North Korea. You're not going to catch the guy.
Never.
But I mean, we could literally send some of these guys over there and and drop them off and just, you know.
I mean, it won't be the first time America's done something like that.
I just want to see it happen. I just want to wake up one morning. It's like where I remember when the Bin Laden thing was announced. I was at Fort Bliss, and my roommate Carson bangs on the door, and he goes, "Hey, dude, Obama, they just got freaking Bin Laden." I go, "What?" I go, "That's kind of convenient right now because this is when Obama was not doing too hot, and everyone's kind of like saying this guy's a dirtbag." And I was like, "This is really convenient." And you know, but either way, you know, I just want to wake up and hear today President Trump sent in a group of elite special forces operators to eradicate Kim Jong-un, a.k.a. Rocket Man. He's no longer here anymore. He has been decapitated, and we are now going to burn his body in Times Square.
And we're going to keep his head and put it in a Smithsonian museum.
Yeah. The weird thing is we found no brain matter inside at all, only a book called What Happened by Hillary Rodham Clinton.
What happened? You lost. That's what happened.
Oh, man. Halloween's around the corner.
Oh yeah, you better be careful what costumes your little one wears in there, man.
I know I might be culturally appropriating, but she is a person of color, so she can't really.
Yes, she is, but you know these white knights out here still won't accept that
No.
because she's not.
What could I wear that would be offensive? What if I wore something? What would I be offending? So, my idea was to be an Indian. Can I be an Indian?
You can be whatever you want, but they would get really pissed off.
So why? What's wrong with me being an Indian?
I don't know. Maybe do you like Indians?
Well, wait, the red dot ones that eat curry, or the
Not
Native
the drum
Americans?
circle. Yeah, not the
drum
red,
circle ones.
Not the drum circle. Oh yeah, the drum circle ones, not the red dot.
So that's bad if I do that. That's,
Yes.
That's cultural
You can't do that.
appropriation.
You cannot do
I'm
that.
stealing their identity.
Yes, that, in their eyes. I told people I'm gonna dress up as a runaway slave. See how that I go running down my street in my neighborhood with chains and old shorts on. You know, have some of my white friends chasing me like, "Urgh." You want to really piss some people off?
Just brush the hair over,
The
get some
fascies.
tiki torches,
I'm in a dead sprint.
and then all of a sudden Depeche Mode plays, and all the white guys stop and they start doing like this, like, video montage or whatever.
Yep.
And we start doing like cool tiki dances, and you're like, all right, man, that always works. That gets the white nationalists. Play Depeche Mode. That'll get them off me.
That'll really piss some people off, though. I mean, Dave Chappelle's been doing it for years. But let me do something like that, man. I'd be off in my freaking head.
That would be funny though.
That'd be great. I mean, like, literally, it's just all planned out. And
That reminds me of Jackass, when you see, remember when the little midgets start running, and the big fat guy Preston's chasing them or whatever like that, and everyone's like just looking.
I just take off running down the street downtown Austin. I'm just like, help! And you have a whole bunch of guys with tiki torches chasing.
Oh man, I think we're gonna be bears.
I don't know what I want to be yet. I haven't even.
Well, I have this grizzly bear costume, and then we're gonna make her a little baby bear, little cub, and then wifey bear. I guess I don't know. I'm not really creative when it comes to this stuff. I mean, I used to be, but now I just don't care anymore. It's like the older I get, the less I just give a shit about holidays, and I don't care about my birthday. I don't care about anything.
Speaking of birthdays, your birthday's what, the 8th?
January the 8th.
Mine's the 9th.
Oh yeah.
Pretty close.
You know who's got the same exact birthday as me?
Who?
Kim Jong-un.
No shit.
January 8th, 1984.
No shit.
Two opposite ends of the spectrum.
Oh man.
Me, him, Elvis Presley, David Bowie, except me and Kim Jong are just kind of like the exact same day.
That's
Now we have to
nice.
get down to the hours. If it was the same time, that'd be some fucking wicked
You
shit.
guys
That
are
means I have
total-
to be dropped in and kill him.
You guys would be totally
Put me in,
brothers.
coach. I'm ready to play. I wouldn't last 2 seconds.
No, not now.
I'm all covered in tattoos and shit, just walking through freaking Pyongyang. They'd be like, damn, dude, that dude's going to get freaking whacked quick.
Oh man, that's crazy.
That would remind me of that scene from Die Hard where they drop off Bruce Willis with the I hate in freaking, what was it, Brooklyn or something? It's like, yeah, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. You drop me off in Pyongyang, I'm going to be like, man, who the hell is this white boy?
And he's talking to himself. Samuel Jackson has to come and save him.
If I go as black, I can do blackface and I could be Dennis Rodman.
True.
But they would be like, man, this guy's not tall enough.
That'd piss some people off. Oh, is that what
Jimmy Kimmel could do it.
What if I did blackface?
Jimmy Kimmel could do it.
What if I did blackface? I mean, the typical white eyes with the white lips right here. Do you think that would really piss people off?
I don't know.
How to do it?
Just do it to do it.
Like, do a little social experiment?
This Halloween, we should just offend as many people as possible.
Exactly. I'm all about offending people. No.
I'm all about offending people. I think that's the funnest thing in the world. I miss going out in the streets and doing that, and going out and debating people and just demolishing them with facts.
Mm-hmm.
Because facts are racist.
Truth hurts, or what is truth is the new hate speech.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you guys are just now tuning in, this is LibertyOneTV.com. You were watching Rogue, right? Me and my buddy Mike are just sitting here shooting the shizit, talking back and forth, having a good old time. Hopefully you guys enjoy the conversation. Make sure you watch the first half of this. This is the interview with Matt Valentinas. He is a Hollywood director, producer type who did a documentary expose on pedophilia within Hollywood. I'm going to try to get his business partner on here pretty soon as well. He's another producer, director guy that knows a lot about this stuff. They've been on InfoWars, they've been on Fox News, they've been on everything, RT lately. And these guys are out there making the the rounds trying to get this information out. For years, these guys couldn't get their documentary out, couldn't be shown because no one wanted to talk about it, because it's just something that you don't talk about. But now that this whole thing with Harvey Weinstein's coming out, and now Corey Feldman, a former famous child actor who's all grown up, is now finally starting to come forward and talk about a lot of the stuff, and possibly more in depth by dropping names. People are starting to pay attention to it more, and hopefully we can get a lot of that out here. Flaming drone targets anti-Trump art. What?
Shia what? Is that Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah. American actor Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf, artistic protest against U.S. President Donald Trump has been attacked again, this time by vandals using a flaming drone in Western France when it went on display this month. That is awesome. The project, which features a white flag with the words "He will not divide us," filmed around the clock by camera, has already moved several times from New York to New Mexico to Liverpool to Britain because of security problems. Now installed above an art gallery in an old biscuit factory in the French city of Nantes, the flag came under attack overnight Tuesday and Wednesday by a drone which attempted for several minutes to set it on fire. This dude is a complete and total failure.
I mean, what happened to him, man? Like, he's just a weird dude now.
He put on that brown paper bag that says "I'm not famous anymore."
Yeah, I mean,
as a gimmick, and he gets is more famous from it.
Yep.
I don't know, that guy's got some major issues.
Maybe his pedophilia did it to him.
I guess. I don't know what's going on. What's something else you want to talk about?
What's trending?
Oh, let's see what's trending.
What's trending?
Let's see what is trending. The only way to find out what's trending is go to Twitter. It's interesting. That's why I hate Facebook. Everything that trends on Facebook comes days after whatever was talked about on Twitter. So whatever I see trending here, I'll see it 3 days later on Facebook, and people talk about it like it's just now breaking. I'm like, dude, this broke a week ago.
Mm-hmm. I was telling all my friends, I was like, dude, Twitter's the way to go, man.
Yeah, the JFK files are out, so you guys got the ability to go check that out. I want to see if anybody starts. Oh, let's see. People probably are going to be reporting for us. Paul Joseph Watson. Trump had to authorize it. If it had been Hillary, you'd be kissing her ass for it. Trump derangement syndrome. TDS. Get over it. JFK files. Anticipation is high for the release of the remaining JFK assassination files. Trump president releasing classified files on JFK assassination. So maybe they're not out yet. Maybe that website's just up, so when it does get released, can't really see. It doesn't say. Either way, we will find out soon enough. Here's a screenshot. Oh, this one guy says, "Wow, some explosive stuff." That's funny. It says, "Wow, some explosive stuff in these newly released JFK documents. This is top secret, sensitive, a state defense contingency." And then it says, in like old type letter, it says there are only two genders. Signed, John F. Kennedy. And it's all like then redacted and blacked out in the whole little area. That's pretty funny. Dude's showing like red strings all across, like a chart dart thing across his wall, ready for JFK files.
What do you think? What do you think is going to come out that we don't know?
I don't know. I have no idea. I honestly, you know what? I really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, it's so long ago.
Who's releasing them? Who's had their fingers on it over the last, however many years? It's probably just so redacted and like blown back. It's probably just like a whole bunch of white pages with just black in the middle, with just blacked out lines, and then it says like "and this dot." Wow.
Maryland.
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be much of anything, but it's still kind of cool, I guess. Kind of a neat time to be alive to see that, to see the redacted white pages.
Yeah.
Not much, though. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I know Roger Stone's pretty amped about this. Wow, look at this. Mark Halperin out at NBC amid sex harassment claims. So everybody's coming out now finally and talking about this. Smoking gun email proves Obama DOJ gave only liberal group settlements money but denied picking and choosing recipients. Let me see this. The chairman of the House Judiciary Committee claims he obtained a smoking gun email that proves that the Obama Justice Department prevented settlement payouts from going to conservative-leaning organizations, even as liberal groups were awarded money and DOJ officials denied picking and choosing recipients. It's not every day in congressional investigations that we find a smoking gun. Representative Bod Goodlatte, Republican, Virginia, said Tuesday, here we have it. So there's that. It's still kind of not much for me to get me going. CNN panel falsely blames both sides for funding dossier. That's funny. WikiLeaks Hillary's bagman for the Trump dossier has ties to David Brock and John Podesta. That's kind of interesting, too. This is the guy, Charlie Baker. He was a former British intelligence guy, a spy, and he's CC'd in this Podesta email with David Brock and John Podesta.
Wow.
So I think we're going to see some stuff come out with this. At the end of the day, do I think Hillary Clinton's ever going to jail, or Barack Obama, or any of the people within that?
No.
The Garners, the Susan Rices, anything like that? No.
They'll never see jail.
No.
People will still praise them and love them.
I'll win the lottery before that happens.
Yeah.
And that's never going to happen, so there you go.
I mean, John Podesta, though, man, that guy's been talked about for years. I think Andrew Breitbart had a lot of crap
Oh, yeah,
on
he
him.
hated Podesta.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the documentary, An Open Secret. We are going to be playing it in its full entirety. The producers of that documentary gave me the ability. They said I could play it for you, and we will play all hour and a half of that documentary. Stay tuned for that. It's going to be eye-opening. It's going to make you sick at your stomach. It's going to make you piss off at Hollywood. It's going to make you never want to go to another friggin' movie again, which is fine because you can put your money somewhere else that's better. It's going to have better use for society and for America. Help donate to a veteran organization. Do something like that with your money. Put your money into something that's worth spending and not into these pedophiles that are in Hollywood sexually abusing our children and doing ungodly amounts of just craziness to other kinds of people out there. Thanks for coming on the show today, brother.
Yeah, bro. Thank you for
See
having
you guys
me.
at Vet Fest November 18th.
Yep.
Right?
November 18th, 12 to 5.
From when?
12 to 5.
12 to 5, and then the
Vet Fest After Dark
Vet
is
Fest
6 to
After
12.
Dark is 6 to 12. So it'll be a good time here in Austin, Texas. Come out, see us.